Welcome to the Fearlessly Fertile Podcast, episode 326. Fearlessly Fertile Miracle Papa, Adam. How he went from stage 4 cancer to conceiving with his partner, Lizzie, naturally. Loves, I'm so excited to be sharing this next episode of the Fearlessly Fertile Miracle Papa series with you. Because in this episode, you are going to meet Adam. Adam is Lizzie's partner, and you know Lizzie from the podcast. And she shared all about their fertility journey. But what you didn't hear is really they had two journeys going at the same time, their fertility journey and Adam's battle with cancer. In fact, they were told that because of his chemotherapy, all of his treatments, that they would never be able to conceive. But we know from having listened to Lizzie's story, they did it naturally. But this is your opportunity to hear Adam's side of the story, really beginning to understand what our men are going through as we live this journey together. So I hope that you absolutely love and devour this episode. Adam, like all of the Miracle Papas that have appeared on this podcast, is amazing and is a wonderful example of what it means to be a caring and supportive partner when at a time like he could have given up. So here is my conversation with the amazing Adam.
Hi.
Big Daddy Adam, I am so excited to be meeting you.
Yeah, I am so glad to meet you finally. Me and my family owe you so much.
Well, Adam, I am so delighted but not surprised at your generosity here because when I think about your story and Lizzie's story, like it just blows my mind. Like it's truly the stuff of miracles, and like seeing you happy and healthy. This is just going to be fun. So we're going to have fun, and we're just going to chat about what your journey was and really what you want men to take away from your experience, because that's really why we're doing this, is to really open up a dialogue and open up a conversation, not only for other men, but for women to understand why this is so important in the journey and truly the impact of the work that they do and what it has, the impact on the family, and ultimately how it helps create the result. So you ready to go?
I am, yeah. I mean, I think there's so much to say. I just don't want to go on too much, really.
I would love it if you would share a little bit about how you and Lizzie found yourselves on the journey, even to begin with.
Okay, I mean, how far do we go back? I mean, Lizzie and I were together years ago, and through one thing or another, she moved away for a job. I was embroiled in something else, and we broke up. And I think at the time I had two kids, my first two children. They were living abroad. I was kind of sad about that. I was going through a lot of stuff then. And Lizzie was in a place in her life where she's saying, "I want children. I want to go and do this." So she went away to live her life. That's Lizzie. She had her other baby. She got married. She did all that, and then that started to go wrong for her. I hadn't spoken to her in 8 years, I think 7 years, and we got back in touch. She got back in touch with me. She actually texted my old phone, and I didn't have that number anymore, which wasn't great. And she found me on Twitter and sent me a message out of the blue. And I was like, "Whoa, interesting." So we started talking. We met up again, and we decided, yeah, we lived in different parts of the country, but we said, this is a go. Let's go for this. And then she managed to get a job over near where I was living, literally on the same site for the same company, and she moved over, brought her family across. And we started seeing each other again, and everything's great. Then I got cancer. everything got put on hold. So I was basically stage 4 cancer, pretty much colorectal cancer. Uh, Lizzie, being the person she is, spent 7 hours on the phone getting me the best surgeon in the country, not taking no for an answer. Got me on the list for this guy. So our life was on hold. We wanted to get together. We wanted to have family, but this took over. So we had a few years of me getting over cancer and going through that, being supported by Lizzie. And then we sat down. It must have been 2021 probably. And we said, I would like a family. Or would we like a family? Or what are we going to do? And we look back at it and laugh now because we spent a year debating this. And it seems stupid now that we wasted that year like talking about it. Is my cancer going to be all right? Are we going to be able to do this? In the end, we decided, yeah, we're gonna have a family. That's great. And I was a bit worried. I was 55. Lizzie was 40. Yeah, I was 55, and a lot going for me at that point. And we said, well, we'll go for it. I think 3 months into trying, we're pregnant. I've had chemotherapy. I've had all of this. So it seems to come quite easy. And Lizzie was pregnant. Unfortunately, we got to a miscarriage. We had a miscarriage just after Christmas that year, which was devastating. Lizzie was thinking, she's too old now. I'm thinking, I'm far too old. It must be the fragmentation of the sperm from the chemotherapy. But I think the biggest thing was that we had the fetus tested and it was chromosomally perfect. So we said, hang on, we can do this. But also we went, it worried us. And Lizzie, without realizing it, had probably started to blame herself that she had killed her. And those were her words, I've killed a perfectly healthy child. So that's where our journey really started, was, are we going to try again? If so, what stopped us? What was it that meant we had that miscarriage? How do we not go through that again? And that was the beginning of our journey that ultimately ended with the baby, but brought us, put us in front of so many amazing people, put us up some real dead ends, blind alleyways, made me question everything that I thought beforehand, made Lizzie question everything she thought beforehand. And I'm glad we ended up where we did, but we went on a long journey to get there. Long journey.
Wow.
So it's simple as that. And I was
Adam,
then six or something at that point. I'm 57 now, so yeah, she's a year old. So
I love how you say that. Well, that's just kind of how this is like a combination of like a Hallmark movie, like romance, and then this like just crazy cancer tragedy that ends beautifully. And I mean, it's wild. This is such a wild story. And
definitely a book in it.
oh yeah, 100%. You guys you really should check the BBC for like doing a documentary, because it's such an incredible story of triumph. Because think about it, like, you guys had the courage to find each other again,
Yeah.
right? To really put roots down together. And
Yeah.
then your relationship is immediately tested with a cancer diagnosis.
Yeah.
And then you watch your woman be this incredible advocate for you.
Yeah.
And you beat cancer. And you're like, we're gonna have a family. Like, most people, Adam, I mean, you must be made of very stern stuff, because most people would be just devastated at, a miscarriage. But cancer and a miscarriage, y'all figured this out. And you decided to keep going.
That's true. I mean, Lizzie is an inspiration. One of the things I first noticed about her when I first met her is the way she looked at the world. Was she used to say things to me like, you're responsible for your own happiness. You can have, getting what you want is easy, knowing what you want is the hardest part. Ernest Shackleton. She would say, you have agency, you can go and do this. And I think, and I've always said about Lizzie, she's Mrs. Options. She'll go options, 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 options. What is it? This, when she looks at a problem or something happens, it's okay, that's happened. What do I need to do to get a different outcome? Yeah, she's a great person.
Adam, you went from one incredible, I mean, I don't think it's an exaggeration to say that it's an existential crisis,
Yeah,
getting a diagnosis like that,
yeah,
to finding yourself in a place where you probably wanted family even more than
yeah.
ever, because you had basically a near death experience. It's a
No,
massive wake up call.
it is. Best thing never happened to me. Best thing never happened to me was getting cancer, and it opened my eyes to how I've been sleepwalking through my life. It opened my eyes to what was really important. It opened my eyes to say, what is it? Why am I doing all this stuff for other people? Why am I living someone else's life? Why am I doing what's expected of me? Why am I listening to these people? And
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to say. Is like, you guys are so conscious and, dare I say, adult.
yeah, yeah. I mean, uh, I never feel like an adult, but
But like, I mean, the kind of awareness, that level of license, agency, personal awareness, as well as being willing to claim your own authority in your
yeah,
own life rather
yeah,
than living by other people's rules,
yeah,
is such a powerful pivot point in people's lives. Because, exactly as you say, like, so many people want, even when we talk about this journey, like, they live by so many other people's judgments, other people's rules, other people's expectations. I mean, you having had that experience of beating cancer and being supported by Lizzie, creating a home life where there was happiness and not competition and, strife. I would suspect that being in a loving environment and keeping your mindset strong must have had a role in your own healing.
yes, yeah, yeah. It's I interestingly, when I first got diagnosed with cancer, I was talking to a Macmillan nurse. So Macmillan is a cancer charity in this country. And I said, look, I'm tantamount to grade stage 4 cancer here. Honestly, what's my chances? What? Give me the give me the deal here. What are my chances? And she said, we have stage 1 people who die within 3 weeks. We have stage 4 people who go on forever. She says, it's all in your mind. She said,
Well,
go home and ask yourself if you want to live. And she says, seriously, ask yourself if you want to live. And you may be surprised at the answer, because a lot of people perhaps really don't want to live. And I went home and and I thought long enough. I had a lot of trouble. I mean, I'll throw another one in. I had a lot of trouble. I mean, I was sexually abused as a teenager by people in authority, and was having counselling at the time for trying to get my head around some of that. And I think a lot of what I realised, if I wanted to live, I had to sort that out. I needed to make sure I had to tell everyone. I needed to stop that being a secret, a guilty secret I was carrying around. I needed to do the work. I need to work on myself. I need to sort that out, carrying that stress. If I didn't do that, I probably didn't want to live. You know, it's that sort of thing. It's that sort of guilt and things you're carrying around. So I realized after that, it's where your mind is. And I think everything is about where your mind is. You can deal with your diet, say for the cancer, you can clean up your life, you can deal with the stress, you can do all of those things, and it's all marginal gains. If your mind's not in the right place, you're not going to get anywhere. And
yeah, and you can speak with authority on that, Adam, because you've seen it on both. You've seen it in your life, and you've also seen it even on your fertility journey, because after, I mean, like, you're living proof of it. And so
mm-hmm.
when you guys faced the miscarriage, because I remember when Lizzie reached out to me, I think it was not that far off from the miscarriage. And I remember that one of the things that she was so committed to was getting over the guilt and the shame and the distrust of herself.
Yeah.
And so what was it like for you as her partner to see her going through that?
Yeah, I mean, we certainly. So Lizzie did her normal sit down, saying, "What do I need to do? What do I need? Where do I need to go? What help do I need?" And of course, we went medical for a start. We were looking at all the medical stuff, and that's some of the. And we had the tests, and we had this, and we had that. We were going up and down blind alleyways on a few things, but we weren't getting pregnant. You see, and this is the one thing. She'd always got pregnant easily. And when I had my first kid, that was easy. There was never a problem with any of that. And so this just started. The months the time started going, and she was worried about the amount of time she had left because of her age. And I was watching this, and she was starting to doubt herself. This is this person I'm always used to finding another answer or finding another alleyway to go down, and it felt like I think she was beginning to feel like I've done everything, and this is not going to happen for me. She was feeling, I've spoken to all these medical people. I've done these tests. I've done this diet. I've had that supplement. I've had that injection. And nothing seems to be working. So for me, that was to see, not in despair. Lizzie, I don't think Lizzie does despair, but she was certainly really blaming herself. I don't think she realized how blocked she was from the guilt, as you said, blaming herself. Of course, I'm supporting. I said, this, brilliant. We know we can do it. Your body can do this, and I think she started to doubt her body, and I think she was getting to the point where she doubted whether it would ever happen, and I think there was a slow realization for her that somehow she was blocked. She'd been listening to your podcast for a long time, and I didn't know she was listening to your podcast. I hadn't listened to your podcast. She was listening to it on the way to work. It was something she was doing. I'm sure she was listening to a lot of things, but she kept going back to your podcast. And then one day she just said, I think I need this. I think I need Roseanne. I need. She goes, I'm blocked. I don't know what's going on, and I need Roseanne, and I'm going to do this. She would have a session with you. And then that was everything that we talked about for the next. It was, she'd come back and she goes, oh my God, I can't believe I'm in looking at things in this way. I got for someone who I thought was able to enable others and someone who was so positive, realizing that she needed like the next level of that coming and being exposed to that, which was what you gave her. It's hard to say. I mean, we laugh a little bit in the family. There was us before Roseanne, and there's us after Roseanne, and I can't stress that enough. Now, we had, from a personal point of view. I mean, we the whole first time we split up, I don't think we'd ever dealt with that. I don't think we'd ever, we were so caught up on getting back together. We'd never really dealt with why we'd broken up in the first place, and her sessions with you gave us a language. It gave us a new language that we were able to have those conversations about, with everyone being in an open space. We thought, it's funny because you say, we thought we were open, we thought we were ready for anything or had the language to have these conversations. We really didn't. We needed this next level. And I can take, I had 2 years of counseling. Counseling does nothing. Those sessions that she had with you moved us from A to Z in days, whereas counseling sort of, and it moved me from A to Z, and I'm getting this second hand from her. I'm not literally osmosis. I'm not getting it. I'm not getting the metaphorical wet fish slapped around my face in a in a room and making me look at life in a different way. This is just conversations with Lizzie after she's had sessions with you. Lizzie and I, every conversation, we use the language. Who you being it's we're not allowed any victims in this house. It's being creators and talking about putting yourself in different mind places. I mean, so to see Lizzie go from someone who was starting to doubt herself to someone who believed in herself again was incredible. Also, it put us all in a better frame of mind. Our relationship is the best it's ever been because of that, because of you, because of doing this. And happy people make nice people. Happy, relaxed people get pregnant. We try
Yeah.
not to deal in lack and scarcity. We do not want to deal in lack and scarcity. The universe is an abundant place, and if you go out and you ask for it, it'll give a go at giving it to you. Is, I think, was what we believe in this house. Thanks to
Wow. You guys had to be willing to do the work, and you had to be open. I mean, that's everything. And I think for Lizzie, she was so used to giving
yeah,
that in order to receive at this level is like it really is a commitment to her family to receive at that level, because a lot of people, when they look at doing a program with me, they're like, oh well, this is going to take away from my family, this is I can't do this, and I'm going to take away from my husband or my partner. And it's like, wait a second, when you take the time to be better and you create a mindset for success, everybody benefits from that.
absolutely. Working on yourself is the most generous thing you can do for everybody around you. You can't. I can't. It made me realize what I was bringing into the room.
Oh,
It
wow.
made us all realize what we're bringing into the room. And I'd heard it in the past, what shadow do you cast, all of that sort of stuff. But there was a realization, a real sense of understanding that first came through Lizzie. I mean, that came through, and she's a great communicator. So she was communicating that to us, and it was conversations. It's not, hey, I'm going to lecture you guys on what I've just learned or anything like that.
Right.
It's nothing like that. It's just conversations, and everything you want is on the other side of a difficult conversation. It just keeps moving
Wow.
in that direction, and we've
Oh,
had a lot of difficult conversations. There's conversations
right.
I've had with Lizzie that I couldn't imagine of ever having before, and that's because of this open mind set.
Wow.
It comes from a
Wow.
place of non-judgment, and when you genuinely start believing that's non-judgment, you know
Wow. I mean,
a lot of good things can happen.
I
Yeah.
remember shortly after Lizzie completed the program, it was just a couple months later, pregnant again. And now you guys have your daughter. Like
Yeah,
that I
absolutely.
got to see just like, when we started this. That was like you guys go from misery and fear to within months, boom.
Yeah, what was great about that as well, I mean, that's great in itself. I mean, what was really fantastic about that was we hadn't seen the fertility clinic in London for a while. They were trying to push us towards IVF. They say, look at your age. You guys need to, you're running out of time. You've got to have IVF. And then we went and drove and sat outside the fertility clinic and had a conversation. And Lizzie said, I now know what I need to do. And she got out the car, walked into the. I'm sitting there at a £50 an hour parking space. She walked into the fertility clinic, came back like half an hour later. She says, I've had a conversation with them. I've told them what it is I need from them, not what they think they need to give me. This is what I need from them, and this is what she got from you. Was she said I would never have walked in there and had that conversation if I hadn't talked to Roseanne, if I hadn't been with Roseanne. She had the clarity in an extremist sort of situation to think this is what I need to do. And she said, we just want this from you and this from you. We're gonna carry on doing it naturally. Everything's fine. Then I got a sperm test come back, said your sperm shot to hell, you're never gonna have a baby. And then she was pregnant like a day after that or something. It's
I mean, you guys
opinions, medical opinions. Just they're entitled to their opinion, but
created a very different reality.
yeah,
I mean, I'm so grateful that you guys did what you did, because now you have your daughter and you're on the other side
yeah.
of it, and having lived this, you can be an inspiration to people all over the world. I mean, thank you so much, Adam. I mean, so in closing this out, like what would you want the men and women listening to know? I mean, you've been dropping bombs this whole time, but if you were going to take anything from your personal experience, both being a cancer survivor, being told, you're not going to father any children, your sperm shot to hell, and then Lizzie's pregnant, like, like the next day, and all this other stuff, and having come back from so many challenges, what would you want people listening to take away from your life experience?
No one else cares about you in the world. Only the people who do care about you close by. You are responsible for your own journey. You are responsible for your own happiness. You are responsible for the life you want to live. It's nobody else's fault the life you do live. That is completely up to you. You have the agency to change your life. Other people, the medical profession specifically, have opinions. We told them during my cancer what we wanted from them, in a way, not what they were trying to give us. We wouldn't take what they were saying as gospel. That you have to be in this hospital, you have to go and do that. No, no, no. Lizzie said, look, I want that man, not his team. I want him doing that. And I'm not going to take no for an answer. And that changed my life. That kept me alive. You know, a 4.5 hour operation turned into a 9.5 hour operation, which he did. And I was up and walking around the next morning. I was the first person to leave that room, that ward. I was out within 3 or 4 days. You know, she changed my
Wow.
life at that point. She changed my direction by insisting on that. And that's what we did with, I mean, that's what you can do. We, even in the pregnancy, I mean, Lizzie bled through the first trimester. Horrible. Then we had the first scan and they said, I don't think your baby's going to make it. We're going to have, you're going to have to, sorry, you've got to have, we're going to have to bring her on early. You're going to have to bring her out after 28 weeks. And I think if we hadn't have got the Roseanne mindset, if our heads weren't in that space, I mean, Lizzie has said this, we came home shell shocked. You know, they've just given us a death sentence pretty much on our baby. The next day, we were with the top guy in London looking at the same information. He said, nothing wrong with your baby. We went with, but we did. We got second opinions, third opinions. It's not trying to find someone who agrees with you. It's going to the best people you can. The best people are the best people for a reason. You know, one thing we've always said is, you know, we ended up paying for our own cesarean section so we could be in this top hospital. We don't have a lot of money. You know, we're still in debt from that. But what we said at the time was people will spend £25,000 getting married and not think anything of it because it's socially acceptable. We've just spent £25,000 on having a family. Spend £100 on getting married. You know, go with your friends
Yeah.
down. You know, you don't need to do that. But what you do need is to look after your health, take agency for yourself. No one else is responsible for your health except you. No one else cares about your health except you. And no one else cares about you except you. And if you work together, you can achieve anything. And it comes down to, as I say, getting what you want can be easy. Knowing what you want is hard. But once you know what you want, making every single decision take you towards that, even if it looks stupid to the rest of the world. And
Yeah.
even if you have to tell a doctor that is talking rubbish or doesn't.
Oh my goodness, Adam, we love you. I mean, like, I feel very blessed and extremely grateful and truly in awe of the good that can happen in people's lives when they do exactly what you're talking about. So, sir, my hat is off to you. I
Thank you.
am so delighted to know you and to have had this opportunity. And thank you for the openness, the kindness, and just the generosity of doing what you've done here today, because your sharing is going to have people look at their own lives, their own health, their own authority in a completely different way. So thank you, sir. I appreciate you. I am virtually hugging you. You go and hug Lizzie for me, kiss your daughter for me. And
Yeah.
here's to living to 130, bro. Happy,
Hopefully.
like,
Yeah. And we
it's
are just
hats
so
off to you.
grateful for you. We are just so grateful for what you did for us and our family. I can't
Mm.
say that enough. It's life before Roseanne, life after.
Well, well, I appreciate you, Adam, and it's for people like you that I do this work. This is why I do what I do in the world, and it's for people like you to be able to live the lives that you truly want. So
Thank you.
thank you. Hug Lizzie. Hug that baby girl. She's beautiful. You did good, Big Daddy. And take care, okay?
Thank you so much. Really well.
Hey, loves, wasn't that Miracle Papa interview just absolutely fantastic? Didn't you just want to hug him? I want to hug all of these Miracle Papas. So you've got to know that this mindset work that you're doing isn't just about you. It's about your mind. It's about your body. It's about your baby. It's about your partner. It's about this family that you desire with all of your heart. So if you want me to teach you what I taught this Miracle Papa's lady, go to my website, www.frommaybe2baby.com, and apply for an interview there. My Fearlessly Fertile Method programs are helping women around the world make their mom dreams come true. And their results, as you can see here, speak for themselves, because if you don't have a mindset for success in this journey, baby, what are you doing? All the treatments, diets, lotions, potions, yoga poses you might be doing are not going to do anything without you. And it all starts here. So go to www.frommaybe2baby.com. Till next time, change your mindset, change your results. Love this episode of the Fearlessly Fertile podcast? Subscribe now and leave an awesome review. Remember, the desire in your heart to be a mom is there because it was meant for you. When it comes to your dreams, keep saying hell yes.